everyone, this is Eileen from Eileen Stuffs, and we are going to be doing a catch-up today and seeing where have I been. I kind of went missing on YouTube. This is the second time I'm filming this because that's why everything is set up. I was actually just filming this and talking to you guys, and then I looked up and realized my camera was tilted on an angle. So in an attempt to salvage this video, I'm just going to do everything over. But today we will be doing a catch-up. There's a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things that are going on, not to mention I stopped filming for a few weeks. But before we do that though, if you are new to my channel, welcome. And if you are returning, welcome back. I am a cash budgeter and stuffer here on YouTube. And I am working on paying off debt as well as building up an emergency and sinking funds. If that is something that you're interested in and you haven't already, please consider subscribing below. I have no idea how much of this video got filmed on this crooked angle. So we're just gonna start over. Hopefully you saw the part where I sanitized everything. We are working on some items for my shop. I have completed this is my second batch of $100 placeholders. These need to have their corners cut. So I have that to do, as well as I have started getting into the scratcher market. I just think they're so much fun, and I figured out how to do them. And this really cool shimmery paper that actually prints in the printer. It's nice and hard, so there's nothing extra needed. And I have 12 different versions of the $100 one and 12 different versions of the $200 one. That way, if you order more than one, you won't get the same version of, like, it won't be like the 5 in the same spot every time, the 10 in the same spot, and so on. So we are just gonna work on these because I have a stack that I printed out last night of 100 and 200s. I also wanna make a 500 and possibly 1,000. It's just the 1,000 would be big amounts, but I mean, some people can do that, so maybe I'll do it. We are checking in because it's been a while, so I thought this would be the best video. What I had, again, I don't know how much of this film got messed up, but basically what I was saying is I haven't filmed for weeks. I would say I can't even remember my last video, and the only thing I can tell you guys is that I experienced major burnout. Like, it took me a couple weeks to realize to name it, and then I was finally like, oh, I get it. I'm burnt out right now. And it does make sense to me because I've had a lot of big changes the past few months, like big life changes. Change in housing situation, change in financial responsibility because of the home, change of a job, right? So when all these things happen, I haven't taken any time off, not even a 3-day weekend. Plus I go to the gym a lot, plus I do YouTube, plus, you know, my work always has extra work that has to be done aside from when I'm actually working. So everything just kind of, I think, finally caught up to me that I was burning the candle at both ends, as they say. And I got to the point where I was having a hard time even trying to come to the table to film a YouTube video. I work until 7 every night, and I used to come home and then do my YouTube videos after. And I have to tell you, there were so many nights where I came home at 7 and I like went to bed. Like, I didn't go to bed, but I went to bed and crocheted or tried to do some notes, or I went to bed and messed around, played video games, like pretty much anything other than coming home and doing YouTube, which was my normal routine. And I would just sit there and think, gosh, I'm so burnt out. So the Thanksgiving weekend was very nice. I did end up taking 5 days off because I was like, all right, I need time off. That's just how it is. And I think it definitely made a big difference because I feel more like myself again. And it's really helping to know we only have a few weeks of work, and then we have our Christmas, New Year's time. So for me, I always take that week off. So kind of knowing I have another week off coming up. And that's why I saved like that money in my account. Why I wanted a $1,700 emergency fund so bad, knowing this time of the year was coming. But knowing I just have a few weeks and I get another week off, that's just, my brain feels so much happier, so much calmer. I feel like myself again. Even that 5 days made a difference. And Like the past couple days has been the first time in almost a month where I was like, I really want to sit down and film a YouTube video. I really want to work on YouTube. I have all these goals and I kind of abandoned them the past few weeks. And so I think my lesson learned is I'm going to experience burnout. And I think maybe next time I'll just kind of be very clear about it and say, hey guys, I feel burned out. I'm going to take a couple weeks off, but I'm not going anywhere, and then do it. So this time I didn't do that because like I said, it kind of snuck up on me, and it wasn't until after a couple weeks went by that I realized, oh, I'm burnt out. But I definitely feel better. Those 5 days off for Thanksgiving break were like very rejuvenating, and I'm like, yeah, okay, we can do this. We can do this. So we are moving on, but I do apologize for kind of going missing in action. I really like to stay consistent with YouTube, and I wasn't. So, you know, but we're moving up from here, I guess. That's kind of what happened. There wasn't any specific reason I disappeared other than, yeah, burnout. That's all I can say. So, there's also been some developments financially during this time though. The biggest one was I've had a huge financial setback, but also a clearer path forward. So you guys know the student loan started again. So about last week, because I did have 5 days off, I actually made an appointment with my bank to go down there and talk about consolidating my credit cards into one loan to make an smaller monthly payment and a lower interest rate, thinking this was going to be a good step for me. So I got to the bank and we're doing everything and we're talking about it, and I'm thinking, yeah, this is going to be good because right now I'm paying like, what is it, like $800 a month or $700 a month in credit cards. So even if this new one is $500, it's still going to be less. And then when she goes to pull my credit check, she tells me my credit has basically plummeted. And I was in shock because probably like a week before, I had looked at my credit and it was in, the mid 600s. It was basically average. It wasn't good. It wasn't, in the 700s where it used to be, but it wasn't bad either. I was in the average range. I was like, it was pretty much okay. And I just remember sitting there at the bank being like, what is this woman talking about? And I even told her, like, there's no way. I just checked my credit and it was like 600 and something. I can't remember the exact number. And she's like, well, you should go to Credit Karma and look. And then she gave me some valuable information about paying off debt. So for her, we made a plan that I have to rebuild my credit. And then in 3 months, I'm supposed to come back and see where everything is at. And then they might be able to qualify me for credit card consolidation. But I was really like in shock. I just didn't understand how my credit score for them could be like almost 100 points. It was like that big. So 2 things. One, she gave me, I'll just tell you what happened with the credit score first. So when I went home, I did pull up Credit Karma and indeed saw that my credit was like in the 560s. I was shocked, but thankfully it told me why. And basically like days before my student loan was reported and it dropped. I didn't know. This is something new I learned that I did not know, but it wasn't actually officially reported to my credit, I guess, because it's not actually delinquent. So I guess part of it was a mistake on my student loan provider after spending 2 hours on the phone with them, asking them why. And part of it was, the nature. Them reporting that I was late on my payments dropped my credit score by 85 points. I did not know that anything on your credit could actually affect it that much, but it does. That was shocking, eye-opening, whatever words you want to use. I was just in shock. It made sense though, because it actually wasn't my credit that was the problem, like my credit cards. It was actually the student loan that was the problem. But it really basically destroyed my credit. And then I called my student loan provider, and I was like, look, all these loans I've been paying, but this loan, I've been trying to contact you guys and I need help. So they did say that there was some mistakes made on their end and they were trying to help me solve the problem. But also they were like, it got reported to my credit because it was over 90 days past due. And then they said, but this is only 30 days past due. So I was like, well, then why did you guys report me to my credit? Right. So there was like this, I was on the phone with them I think I might have the picture still because I took a picture. I was on the phone with them for like 1 hour and 59 minutes trying to get help. I have to say though, the customer service lady, she was so calm and patient and helpful. And she was like, couldn't figure out why my student loan had gotten reported to the credit company. And also I had already done an income driven payment plan. So she was showing that my monthly payments were supposed to be 100 and something. And I kept telling her, yeah, but they've been putting hundreds on a month. So all of a sudden, within like 2 months, I had a student loan bill saying I owed $2,000, which wasn't even my payment plan. And I was trying to tell her, like, I don't understand what happened. I've tried to call you guys, but they've been really busy with really long hold times. And I just would eventually give up and have to hang up. So part of it is I should have maybe been more persistent. So that is definitely my fault. I should have been more on top of it. Because it basically, kind of being like, okay, I'll try later, got to the point where it was reported. Anyway, this is a whole drawn out story, you guys. Long story short, she told me my best option at this point would be to consolidate all my loans, and that a few of my loans are actually eligible for forgiveness because I've been paying them for over 20 years. So that's our next step. And then once everything is consolidated, I would be able to apply for one of the income-driven payment plans again. And that is how they're going to help me get my account current and move forward. So that is what I did. I've already turned in the debt consolidation. I did that. So today's Tuesday. I sat down Sunday morning. I'm sorry. I was on the phone with them on Friday. And then I sat down on Saturday morning and got all that stuff turned in. And now the application can take like a month to process. They said up to 2. I really hope it doesn't take 2. And then basically waiting for my next step, which is for them to process it and then move forward and see what loans might be eligible for forgiveness. And then I also was able to turn in the income-driven plan I wanted. So I picked an income-driven plan. So the goal is that once all this processes, everything will be up to date. I'll be on an income-driven plan, and that the insane amount that they were charging, the whatever happened with them not, oh yeah, look at this, you guys. This is looking really cute. Is kind of getting, I wasn't eligible for the Fresh Start. I don't know if you guys heard about the Fresh Start program, but if you're delinquent on your student loans, you can do this Fresh Start to get you back to beginning. They said I wasn't eligible because they're like, well, your loans aren't delinquent. You're not eligible. I'm like, well, then why did you guys report it to my credit? No one could answer that question. Nobody was able to answer why my loans got reported to my credit. And I was like, it's like dropped my credit literally 85 points. And they were just like, oh, wow, it's really crazy. But there was never any answer given as to what happened. They were just like, they spent over an hour putting me on hold, trying to figure out what happened. And then eventually she came back and was like, let's solve the problem, but never actually explained it. So that's my student loan. We are moving forward. I thought we're consolidating, and I'm waiting for the next steps, and I'm definitely going to be more diligent. I was thinking, I've given it a week. I'm probably going to call Nelnet Monday and just be like, hey, I'm just checking in. I think I'm going to just stay more on top of things so that doesn't happen again. But I think as far as the damage to my credit, the damage is done. So that kind of goes back to my meeting in the bank. When I found all this out, I was like really a little upset at the way the bank person she didn't really like help me. I tried to tell her like, no, there's no way my credit should be like 660 or something, 670. And instead of like listening to me, she basically was like, well, too bad. And you know, she just like thought I was lying or something, and I wasn't. And then that kind of bugged me. However, she did answer my question. So one of the things I've talked about on my channel is being really torn between doing a debt snowball where I pay the little ones off first, or tackle my biggest credit card, which is my one credit card that has $8,000 on it. I think for me, that has been just an answer that I couldn't figure out. But she confirmed, she told me a little bit about how different credits affect your credit score. And she actually said that you're way better paying off your high balance first than trying to do a snowball. She was like, your one credit card is over $8,000, you pay $260 a month. And when they look at the 30%, I can't remember what she called it. Someone probably knows it, but that like percentage of utilization rate. So you have to keep your cards under a 30% utilization rate. So they're going to look at that more. So she said it's going to impact my credit more to have an like a credit card that has 8,500 limit and 8,000 of it is used. That's going to hit me a lot harder than this little store card I have that has a $700 limit and I've got 300 on it. She was like, so she basically told me to switch my focus and focus on the cards with the biggest debts first instead of the little ones. Because she said that's going to help me rebuild my credit faster and will make it look better. Like it's just the smarter choice apparently. So from, I guess, a bank's perspective, there you go. She said they're really looking at that 30% utilization rate of each card. And it's really easy to figure out. Basically, you take your balance, you times it by 0.30, and that is the amount that you should be carrying on your credit card. So for example, if you have a $10,000 credit card limit, 30% would be $3,000. So you wouldn't want to have any more than $3,000 on that card. That's going to make it look way better for you if you're trying to do things like loans, buy a house, etc. That's what the lady at the bank told me. So that kind of answered my question. So I am from the result of all this, I feel like I took 2 steps back, but also I feel like I had to take 2 steps back to actually see the path forward, if that makes sense. It was like I walked right on by the path I needed, and then life was kind of like, nope, you got to go this way. That's kind of how I'm looking at it now. I had a few days where I felt really sad, where I was like, this is the second time my credit took a hit, because my credit was actually at 740 before my divorce, and it just took a big plummet from that, and then it took another one with the student loans, and I'm just, I feel it's easy to get sad, but I don't want to. So like I said, I think through this, I gained some valuable information, especially at the bank, and that is what I'm going to run with here. So that is my new plan, and I already did it with my paycheck on the 15th, which again, I didn't film that budget video. But that credit card is normally $260, and I paid $330, so I paid an extra 60. Wait, no, did I pay like $326 I paid. So I paid an extra $66 this month on that card, and that's what I'm going to focus on right now, is basically getting the highest card down, paying the most amount I can, which means this leads to other changes, which is I'm going to stop sinking funds for a while. I kind of said this before, but now I really am. I've got like $285 in my sinking funds for my bills. I think that's the most important one. I did have over $100 for my car sinking fund, but I just got my oil changed, and so that was like right at a little under $100. So that is gone. I spent it on the oil change, and I also have my transmission getting fixed next week, which is going to be $50, which I'm going to try to just budget for on my next paycheck, because my deductible is only $50, so that's good. But I guess what I'm thinking here is probably the car, maybe instead of having a separate car, I'll just, use my total emergency fund if I need it. But if not, I'll try to budget. I just think like I got to focus on this debt and rebuilding my credit. Like, that has become so obvious to me. And it's funny because yesterday when I went to work, I found that urge being like, oh, I'll just stop and get something to eat real quick. And I was like, don't do it, Eileen, because all those $10, $5, $7 are going to add up to what could be $100 snowball payment on my really high credit card. So I think those are the big things. I've essentially dealt with major burnout, took 2 steps back, I feel like though I really feel like life basically gave me a reset and was like, this is what we're doing wrong. This is what we need to do. So I feel a little bit more hopeful, and I feel way more determined than I was before, because now I'm like, oh no, I'm like very much motivated to get my credit score back up. And I think that's going to help, just because I know myself, like when I have that kind of goal in my mind, I work really hard for it. Right now, at this point in my life, the biggest goal that I have is money, as far as gaining back control of my money, getting out of this debt, and kind of vamping my credit. So those will be some of the biggest changes. I won't be like even trying to stuff sinking funds right now. I have extra money. I'm pretty much going to allocate it between huge extra payments on that big credit card. So we're going to start working with the biggest number first, and we'll go through that. And then my mom, because I owe her, and then, you know, making sure I have money in the bank for emergencies, and really trying to change habits. So I guess that's kind of it, you guys. Anyway, this is where we got off to in this conversation. I hope that kind of explains a little bit about where I've been. It's just been a combination of feeling very burnt out and getting some very bad financial news. But however, like I said, I feel like the way forward for me now is more clear. This is what they'll look like when they're done. I feel like I know. So I don't have that like, should I do Snowball? Should I do Avalanche? Like I was having that back and forth, and now I'm like, nope, this credit card with $8,000, that is she said I need to try to get that down to 30%, which I think when she did it, it was like 3,000 and something. So really the goal would be to pay about 5,000 on that credit card, which I do think if I'm incredibly diligent, I could probably do it in the next 6 to 7 months. Which would be really great for me, because that would, she said that would really make a difference in my credit score. One more thing that just occurred to me, but I just forgot. As I was talking, I thought about something else, but oh, my taxes. So I have been trying to throw extra money into estimated taxes this year so I don't end up owing like last year. And then I realized, wait a minute, we could figure this out. For 2024, I realized if I want to save like $12,000 for taxes, that's about $500 a paycheck, or $1,000 a month. So I was like, okay. So I'm going to try to start off 2024 very fresh with diligently putting aside $500 a paycheck for 2024 taxes, and then probably extra to go towards that credit card bill from 2022 I still have. I mean, that's on an automatic payment system right now, so it is, you know, taken care of. But if I could throw extra to it and get it done, that's going to be my goal. And then of course I have state taxes, so probably like $700 a paycheck for 2024 taxes, and then I've been doing 1,000, and then maybe that other 3, throw it towards the 2022 bill just to help it go down faster. So that's the other plan I made. But I guess that's it, guys. I hope, you know, like I said, I mean, I feel like I've taken 2 steps back, but definitely I feel like my focus is different. It's better, and it's a little bit more clear. Plus I've actually gotten some professional financial advice at this point. And that is the advice I'm going to follow to move forward. So we'll probably talk a little more, because I think it would be really helpful, since it's the end of the year, to do like another reassessment of where my debt is at, and then figure out what the 30% utilization goal rate would be, as far as, you know, what the bank said, and then figure out a tax plan. I thought about making some kind of chart I could like fill in and keep track, because I like stuff like that. I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Yeah, so I'm working really hard. I'm just kind of again, keeping myself at home, not spending money. I'm just making these fun things. My printer that I've had for years seems to be very good at printing on like better paper. So I'm excited to see that. So kind of with what I have here, I'll be working and making stuff. I hope to get this stuff up in the next week, at least some of it, just to get going. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a wonderful November into December and you had a good holiday, I think, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.